I just want to know, in what world, in what freaking universe would a fat bitch like myself get on Mariah Carey's internet, on Beyonce's internet, and say, I have a restrictive eating disorder, and then have the entire world mock and ridicule you more than they already did? Because let's face it, living in a larger body is not fun. So, guess you're wrong, bestie.
Hello YouTube, and welcome to the Body Honesty Project. My name is Lydia, and today we are talking all about gaslighting. So let's start with what the definition of gaslighting is. Gaslighting is used to manipulate someone using psychological methods into questioning their own sanity or powers of reasoning. This is a common technique that people use when they have done something wrong and they want to put the blame on you, or they don't want to answer a question, so they make themselves extra defensive. This is serious emotional manipulation, because not only do they skirt having to tell the truth, they make you think that you're the one that's crazy. So how do you know that you're being gaslit? Well, there's some common methods that people that are gaslighters do. So why don't we go through some of them? A gaslighter is extremely defensive. Gaslighters need to be right, dislike criticism, and refuse to accept any blame. So if they feel like you're challenging them, it's not uncommon for them to become highly defensive in response. A gaslighter is constantly telling you how to feel. One major gaslighting flag is when you feel something and the other person says to you, you shouldn't feel like that. Well, only you get to decide how you feel. But gaslighters like to tell you how you should feel. A gaslighter always makes you out to be the bad guy. No matter the situation, no matter if they did something wrong, it's always your fault. And if they do take any ounce of blame, it's because you made them do it. A gaslighter also outright denies what you know to be true. So you might be 100% certain of an exact recollection of an incident, but the gaslighter will make you question those facts, even though you're sure. Think of Big Brother, 2 + 2 is 4. And by the end of 1984, what was the answer? 2 + 2 was 5. So with those aspects of gaslighting, I would like to draw attention to how Tess Holliday has been gaslighting us for years now with this whole restrictive ED. And in a previous video, I mentioned that she was using the logical fallacy of appeal to authority. Well, she's gone so much farther than that. She is now just outright gaslighting us. So why don't we get into the TikTok?
I've been getting this comment a lot lately, so let's get into it, bestie. I just want to know, in what world, in what freaking universe would a fat bitch like myself get on Mariah Carey's internet, on Beyonce's internet, and say, I have a restrictive eating disorder, and then have the entire world mock and ridicule you more than they already did? Because let's face it, living in a larger body is not fun, especially when you exist in a larger body such as mine, where you don't cover up, where you wear whatever you want, where you live freely because you're allowed to, and people still mock and ridicule you. Why would I add more fuel to the fire? It's like when I came out as queer, everyone was like, I knew it, you're a liar. It's like, what? Do I need to post every single person that I hook up with and date and everything else? Do I need to post every single meal that I don't eat? Because it's hard for your tiny little peanut brain to understand science. And last but not least, I just got back from New York, where I accepted Project Heal, which is an eating disorder organization's award for their Inspire Award for the work that I do for the community. So, guess you're wrong, bestie.
Okay, so what the heck was that? Someone leaves Tess a comment saying that she clearly does not have Anna, and she has EDNOS, which means eating disorder not otherwise specified. And she comes back with not answering the question at all, but instead attacking the questioner. So let's go back to our list of ways that gaslighters gaslight us and see exactly what Tess is doing. A gaslighter uses loaded words against you, such as calling you crazy or irrational or too sensitive.
Because it's hard for your tiny little peanut brain to understand science?
Well, Tess just called us peanut brains that could not understand science. So that's a check for the first one. A gaslighter is extremely defensive.
I just want to know, in what world, in what freaking universe would a fat bitch like myself get on Mariah Carey's internet, on Beyonce's internet, and say, I have a restrictive eating disorder, and then have the entire world mock and ridicule you more than they already did? Because let's face it, living in a larger body is not fun, especially when you exist in a larger body such as mine, where you don't cover up, where you wear whatever you want, where you live freely because you're allowed to, and people still mock and ridicule you. Why would I add more fuel to the fire?
Oh my goodness, was that not just one long defensive diatribe? I mean, why would I do this? Why would I do this? Well, we're not asking you why, you just did. And the turning it around and asking us why we're asking you the question, it's pure defensiveness. A gaslighter is constantly telling you how to feel.
So, guess you're wrong, bestie.
Well, Tess is questioning our motives, questioning our intelligence, questioning how we interpret science. So yeah, totally turning it around on us. And the gaslighter makes you out to be the bad guy. Well, bestie, I think that's exactly what she was doing. Trying to make it seem that she knows so much better. And you know, she did the appeal to authority thing once again.
And last but not least, I just got back from New York, where I accepted Project Heal, which is an eating disorder organization's award for their Inspire Award for the work that I do for the community.
Involving some other organization that's giving her an award does not mean that you have an ED test. It does not. It just means that this organization seems to value some of the stuff that you're doing. But by no means is that an endorsement that they believe your particular story and your particular ED. You start to question your reality around the gaslighter. Well, I'm a little too smart for that, Tess, but you're trying to make us all question science.
Do I need to post every single meal that I don't eat? Because it's hard for your tiny little peanut brain to understand science?
We know calories in versus calories out. We know that you cannot starve yourself to 450 pounds. So, I can see how weaker-minded people would question the science around them, because that's exactly what you're trying to make people do, but that's not going to work on the intelligent part of society. And a part of this is the gaslighter outright denies what you know to be true. And Tess Holliday seems to want to break the laws of thermodynamics, which just isn't possible.
And I think the other thing that's really counterintuitive is hearing Tess say, you know, she's fat, but she's starving her body. You know, our natural, what we've all been sort of taught to understand is the less food you give yourself, the less weight you're going to put on. And clearly there is an issue there that we need to understand.
That still holds true, but you can restrict yourself from eating for days and then binge.
And then eat the wrong thing.
And hence the overlap with bulimia.
So Tess, are we sinking to even a lower of lows now? That rather than actually answering the question that was sent to you or owning your own behavior, you want to deflect and attack people? I know what gaslighting is. And now, all of my audience also does too. So stop gaslighting us, Tess. If you're interested in more Tess Holliday content, I highly recommend this one over here, which is Tess Holliday's Logical Fallacies. And I also have another playlist entirely dedicated to Tess that you can find over here. So, until next time, stay body positive, but also body honest.